Welcome back into the Sportsmemo NFL Every Game on the Board podcast with our next guest, Robbie Veno. Rob, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
I am great today, Drew. How about yourself? It's another one of those happy Fridays.
Happy Friday to you, and I'm sure you're doing great, man. 17-4, 81% last 7 days, Robbie. I don't want to say anything to mess this up, man, so just what's going on, man? You're red hot, huh?
I never say it, Drew, because I don't want to mess it up. I just keep looking down at the ground and trying to plow forward. But yeah, it's been really, really good. Like I say, when you go ahead and project like we do here, handicapping and betting, when you go ahead and project these games and you do all the work necessary, and then they play out the way that you anticipated them to play out, you're in a pretty good roll. Right now, I'm in the vortex of something that's just continually going well. We are up with plays for tonight, tomorrow, get the NFL up there too. But like I say, it's all just going to form right now. I think, one thing I will say, Drew, is I've had a few winners in college football in that 7-day mix that have gone against line moves. And I think that the fact that we have 8 games under our belt that we can – you hear me say it a lot. Just don't go by overall statistics. And we talk about it a lot. Go ahead and nitpick through a team's opponents. To find that Temple game last night where they had been absolutely handled by the only 2 good offenses that they played all season long, we saw it happen again last night. So I think the sample size is large enough for us now to be able to make these pretty good determinations, and certainly it's working out for myself right now.
Yeah, man, we'll keep it going. 17-4, 81% the last week. Guys, if you like a hot handicapper, a good handicapper, Rob Veno's your guy. We got Veno40 as a coupon code. Same coupon code all week. That's VENO40 for 40% off any all-access pass with Robbie Veno. That's 7-day, 30-day, 90-day, all of it, 40% off with the coupon code VENO40. Robbie, let's get into the games here. We got 463, 464. Chicago Bears, Buffalo Bills. Looks like the Bears laying 10 on the road, 37.5 the total. Rare we see a team laying doubles in the NFL on the highway. We got it here. How do you look to bet it, Robbie?
Yeah, it's always a difficult thing to get involved with for sure. You have Buffalo coming off the divisional contest against rival New England and pretty much having that game in the bag Monday night as far as the cover goes, Drew, until the end of the game just doesn't work out for them. They throw a touchdown pass, it gets overturned because the ball was dropped, didn't have control to the ground. So that gets overturned. And on the next play, they throw a pick six that goes about 87 yards, and they don't cover. Buffalo was in the game the entire stretch with New England, 4 quarters, let's say 58 out of 60 minutes. Don't get the money there, even though they were catching 15. They wind up losing by 19. It just goes to show you their offensive shortcomings are so difficult to overcome for this team. Now, they're going to go back to Nate Peterman at quarterback here because of injury. They have to. And like I say, on a short work week, you wonder how they'll fare against the Bears defense that will welcome back Khalil Mack. According to most reports, he didn't practice Wednesday, didn't practice Thursday, didn't play against the Jets last week. But it's said to be precautionary, and we'll see if he makes the practice field today. I assume he's going to in some limited form, and Khalil Mack will be back for the Bears to make matters even worse for the Buffalo offense. They have to be able to throw the football to have any chance. So we'll see what Peterman can do. But I'll say this. The Bills have now played 6 consecutive unders. If you're a totals player, it's a massive string that the Bills are in the middle of right now. They scored 13 points or less in 6 of their last 8 games. So obviously the offense just hasn't been there all season long. Contrary to that, the Bears have scored 23 or more in 7 of their 8 games. So the 10-point gap you can see right there in those numbers. Not so sure I want to go ahead and lay 10 with the Bears here because they are, even though the offense, and give Matt Nagy credit, new head coach of the Chicago Bears, he has diversified their offense quite a bit, but it relies a lot on the running game to help Mitchell Trubisky out. And Buffalo's run defense is no pushover, only giving up about 106 yards per game. They're good enough to force Trubisky to have to make some throws in this contest. We'll see if he can.
Robbie, moving down the card, we got Houston at Denver, 46 the total. Looks like Denver either -1 favorites or pick 'em, depending what book. How you looking to bet Houston-Denver here?
Boy, this is crazy, Drew, because when you go up and down these two teams after 8 games, their statistical numbers are almost mirror images all the way. The one that sticks out is the rush defense, where Houston only allows 95 yards a game and the Broncos allow 135. A 40-yard gap in rush defense is prominent and in a lot of cases worth betting. We'll see how this goes here. The Texans' run game is going to have to do some damage, though, to that Denver defense. The other side of the coin, I will say that when Denver plays Phillip Lindsay on a regular basis, boy, he tears it up. And Denver's got the 7th best rushing offense in the NFL. Bill Musgrave was questioned a little bit this week about how come they don't run the ball even more. And he just said it's, situational based on opponent. So we'll see how they balance out the play calling here this week. But that's probably the key to the game right there, the rush offense of Houston against the rush defense of the Broncos, because the rest is so similar. I mean, when you think about these two teams defensively, immediately you think of pass pressure, J.J. Watt, Whitney Merciless, the Houston pass rush and the Denver pass rush led by Von Miller. They're both pretty close in sacks, quarterback sacks this season. They're both real close in sacks allowed. Neither offensive line protects the quarterback real well, so you could see some damage being done there. There's some back 7 injuries on both sides. I mean, when I went through this game entirely, handicapping ingredient by ingredient by ingredient through the fundamentals, you're hard-pressed to come up with which side you want to bet on. But I think you do come up with is there's potential for points to be scored in this game. This total opened at 47, driven down to 46, and in some instances we see 45.5s out there. And I think it's all due to one common denominator, the trade of Demaryius Thomas. Trades and injuries, Drew, from what I've seen this year, just blindly affect the line. Bettors just go to the window, to the rack against injuries and against trades as big as this one. And I don't know that they always work out, and I don't know that it'll work out here. The loss of Demaryius Thomas certainly won't hurt the Denver wide receiving corps any. What it could do is reveal a lot of their playbook to the Houston Texans. I mean, how do you trade a guy midweek to a team you're going to wind up playing on Sunday so he can run across and tell them, yeah, this is what they do in this situation, this is what they do in that situation. So that could help Houston. But playing Cortland Sutton now, the rookie from SMU, playing Deshaun Hamilton now, the rookie from Penn State, I don't think the Broncos suffer at all in the passing game. Be interesting to see, but I got my eye on this total, Drew. I just, 46 is one of those in the NFL, one of those dead type numbers. You want to have the key of 47 on your side. It's real important, and here it is. So I may get involved with the over in that game.
Yeah, it's such a weird scenario with that. It was the wildest kind of trade deadline in a few years, huh, Robbie?
As far as activity goes, yeah, and there were some names thrown out there. So usually we don't see that amount. We don't see that big of a set of names that get shifted to other teams. But this year it did happen, especially where wide receivers are concerned. Like I say, with the defensive injuries in this game, you would expect that these teams can move the football a little bit. We'll see.
Moving down the card here, Robbie, we got 4-6-7, 4-6-8, the LA Chargers, not to be confused with the San Diego Chargers, versus the Seattle Seahawks, 47.5. That key number you were just talking about. We got Pick'em -1. How you looking about the Chargers Seahawks here, Robbie?
Well, the Chargers just keep climbing the power ratings, Drew. They've been real good this season, and the fact that they've been able to do it on the defensive side without Joey Bosa is a real good sign for them, because at some point in time they get him back and they become even better. But they had their bye week last week, which was, I think, crucial for them. Get the bye week. I think the last game they played was London against Tennessee. So they needed the bye week. They're going to get Melvin Gordon back. Their running game has become very explosive. But I think the matchup here, Drew, to look out for in this game, just speaking from the fundamental sense, is the San Diego wide receiving core against the Seattle DBs. It seems to me that Phillip Rivers has taken more deep shots. He's always been a vertical type thrower, but they take deep shots now and they connect on deep shots. And when you go through the Seattle defensive backfield, I mean, their best defensive back is Bradley McDougald, and he's the strong safety. He wouldn't be involved in too many deep pass plays. The two Williams at receiver for San Diego have been making plays all season long to go along with Allen. So I'd expect San Diego to take their shots. Phillip Rivers certainly has all season long, and they've developed a ground game to go with it. Melvin Gordon's having a breakout season. Like I say, he's back. And they have backs behind him anyway. The stable's rich with productive backs. So to me, the Chargers can move the football here. But the other side of that coin is Seattle. Their offensive line has improved tenfold. I know that Chris Carson, the running back, is getting a lot of the publicity the last 7 to 10 days through the media. But really, the offensive line has made a major difference in the fact that Seattle can now run the ball. And off of that run, Russell Wilson's such a great play-action passer. And their wide receiving core is real good, too. The Chargers are going to have their hands full with this team. It's two really good balanced offenses at this time, Drew. And I think that the way things match up here, each team gets a little bit of an offensive edge. Like I said, I'd expect San Diego, though, to make some hay in that downfield vertical passing game in this one. We'll see if we get to the total here. It's real tough to play the side because Seattle at home is extremely difficult. But the Chargers go anywhere right now and play everybody difficult, very physical football team. So real good game, probably an underrated game just from a pure fan standpoint. We'll see if we can get to the total in that one.
Robbie, I don't know if you remember, but when we were on, I think, the first NFL Every Game on the Board podcast, I asked you, how many times were we going to refer to the Chargers as the San Diego Chargers? I think you just did.
Maybe more than once without even knowing it.
Yeah. I think we set the over/under at like 4.5, so we're at least one, halfway through the season. That was good, man. We got the L.A. Rams now at the New Orleans Saints, and Robbie, this number's been jumping around a little bit. The Rams were actually underdogs, something you don't see a lot, and now we're seeing pretty much -1, -1.5 now. The Rams are laying on the road. This one in the Big Easy, 58.5 the total, Robbie.
Yeah, and the LA Rams, just real quick to go back to what you were saying about calling the Chargers San Diego, Drew. Even the Rams, as good as they are, last week against the Packers, Rams at home, it was like a Packers home game, and nobody goes to either one of these teams' games in Los Angeles. So that whole move, putting two teams in L.A., may backfire on the NFL one more time. I mean, the fact that the Rams are undefeated and the Packer cheers were louder than the Ram cheers last week is absolutely incredible. Certainly, if you're going to play a road game at home, so to speak, you don't mind going on the road, although the Dome in New Orleans is never an easy task. I think there's some things here that the Rams can exploit. Maybe that's why we've seen a little bit of a movement in the line. But for New Orleans, which seems to be they seem to be the bandwagon team right now, Drew. And I don't disagree with the fact that they are one of your chief competitors for the NFC title this year. But they're getting a lot of love in this game, almost universally. And when I broke it down, the first thing that shows up is that the Rams have the number 1 rated rush offense in the NFL. The Saints have the number 1 rated rush defense in the NFL. So something's got to give there. Todd Gurley has been fantastic. If the Saints do anything well on defense, they stop the run because they certainly don't stop the pass. Give up 300 yards a game. Gurley's effectiveness, much like Alvin Kamara for the Saints, I mean, it's dual threat. They both catch it out of the backfield as well as run. So, LA's going to get some numbers in the rushing game. They probably won't get what they average on the season, but what they don't get in the rushing game, they'll make up for in the passing game. Because like I say, New Orleans still very weak. Even after the trade for Eli Apple, you can beat this team through the air. And I think one injury, Drew, if there's one injury this week that, in my opinion, has gone totally unnoticed, under the radar, and could end up having a huge effect on the outcome of a game. I would say that it's the Saints' injury to Marcus Davenport, the rookie defensive end, really come into his own as far as pressuring the quarterback. The Saints don't pressure the quarterback. They're down the bottom of the NFL in quarterback sacks, and Davenport was tied for second on the team with 4 QB sacks, tied with Sheldon Rankins, kid from Louisville, and Cam Jordan, their best pass rusher, has 5. But those 3 guys are it. You take one of those out of the equation against Jared Goff and company, if you can't put any pressure on him, and Cooper Kupp's probably going to come back, and these receivers are going to run that offense downfield, I don't know. It sets up real bad to me for the Saints defensively. I don't really think the fact that they can stop the run as well as any team in the NFL helps them here in this instance against the Rams. So for me, I see a lot of points from the Rams. Not that that's telling anybody anything new, but they may be able to outscore New Orleans in New Orleans home stadium in this one, which doesn't occur all that often. Now, the Rams bolstered their defense, right, midweek trade. So certainly defensively they could cause a few more problems than New Orleans. When you get a game like this, where 2 teams are so good at what they do best, on the defensive side of the football, all you need is that extra 1 or 2 stops to win the game. And to me, the Rams have more ability to get those 1 or 2 stops. Jared Goff, I don't feel will go out there and make a bunch of mistakes. Drew Brees hardly makes any. But as far as an extra quarterback sack to stop a drive or an extra deflected pass to stop a drive, I think that the Rams are probably the better team in this game. We'll see if they can overcome that venue. Now, a lot of people can't. The Rams have the firepower. We'll see if the defense can make the couple of plays I'm talking about here.
Robbie, good stuff breaking down these games. We got the Sunday Nighter and Monday Nighter. Just want to throw out the coupon code VENO40 for 40% off any all-access pass with Rob Veno on sportsmemo.com. And guys, he's hitting 56% on the year in football, up over 20 units on a 1 to 2 unit scale, so no artificial inflation. You can't say a 10-unit play and it wins and you just win 2 of them and you're up 20 units. No, it's 1 and 2 units throughout the season. He's up over 20 units in college football and the NFL. And real hot in the last 7 days, 17 and 4, 81% over the last week. So Rob Veno, a good choice here, and Veno40, no spaces, all capital letters, when checking out for 40% off any all-access package with Rob Veno. That could be 30-day, 90-day, 7-day. And remember, college basketball starting on Tuesday as well, so that will be that will count towards the all-access package. We got Sunday night here, Robbie, 471-472, Green Bay Packers, New England Patriots. Kind of a dead number here with the Patriots laying 5 in Foxborough, 56.5 the total, Robbie.
Yeah, you couldn't get 2 more, at least on paper, Drew. You couldn't get 2 more offensively dominated games than these last 2 we're talking about here. I mean, the Rams at New Orleans, kind of a coin flip as to who's going to outscore the other one. At least, as I mentioned, on paper, you never know what happens when they hit the field. But it's the same deal here. Green Bay cannot defend the pass. They got the rookies running around in the defensive backfield. Now, Jair Alexander, the Louisville kid, made a few nice plays last game, but 1 out of 5 D-backs. It's not going to cut it against Tom Brady and what looks to be a full arsenal of offensive weapons. I mean, every week when you look at the New England injury report, it's just loaded from top to bottom. But everybody in the end winds up playing. Edelman winds up playing. Gronkowski, for the most part, winds up playing. So I'd expect to see all of them out there. The one question mark that we still aren't too sure of would be Sony Michel, which is a big piece of the Patriots offense so far this year. James White handles it when Michel isn't in there, and he's certainly more than capable. So you got to start from the breakdown of, can Green Bay walk into Foxborough and outscore these guys? They tried it last week against L.A. A bad decision at the end of the game hindered Aaron Rodgers' chance to go down the field. I think most people believe, if you took a poll, the majority of that poll would probably say or have felt that Aaron Rodgers was going to go down in 2 minutes and get that field goal kicked for the win there. He didn't get the opportunity. Same exact scenario for him marching into New England here. There's a tough 2-game stretch for the Green Bay Packers to have to go face the Rams and then all the way across country to Foxborough to play the Patriots in the Sunday Nighter. He's more than capable of matching Brady point for point. It's, to me, Drew, this game, you don't even really have to dig too deep. It's just a matter of whether or not you think these teams can get to over 56 points. I will say this. Last week, I was on the over 56 in the Rams-Packers game because, for the most part, I know 35-21 is key, but for the most part, 57 is the more key number than 56 when you're playing totals. So, you're looking for that 30-27 game or something like that. Didn't get it when Todd Gurley fell down. You probably get it this week. I just don't see any way the two defenses that are playing each other here have very many stops of the opposing offenses. New England's on the short work week. Imagine going to play Buffalo, who can't do anything offensively 6 days ago, and then coming back to face Green Bay, who could do anything they want offensively. It's certainly a step up in class for the Patriots. I'll probably look towards over in that contest.
Robbie, last game up, we got the Monday Nighter, Tennessee at Dallas, 40 the total. Looks like the Cowboys lay in 5.5 at home.
In a card, at least the half that we got, Drew, a card of basically mirror image teams, we wind up with two more here. Tennessee and Dallas have virtually become clones of each other, in my estimation. Very solid on defense. Dallas has improved defensively on all three levels in a massive way this season. That's why we look at this game and see a total of 40. Tennessee, of course, already a good defensive team. The difference, could the difference be the fact that Dallas is going to break out Amari Cooper in this one? I'm not sure. But the quarterbacking, to me, I don't see a real edge on either side here. Prescott against Mariota, I think that's a wash. I think the offensive line's become a wash. Dallas's once really, really strong offensive line has declined, and they're not as good as they used to be. The running game for both teams, prominent in the offensive play. So it's a methodical style game with two real good defenses. Can anybody force turnovers? That would probably be the difference. But in a game like this, I'd be all about taking the dead number here. I would take 5.5 points with Tennessee. I think that they're good enough. I think that, coming off the game in London, Drew, where they went for two, and Mike Vrabel took a ton of heat for not just tying the game and going to overtime, and then they got the bye week last week. I think they come out with a real good focused effort here. Monday night audience, you're the only two teams on TV. I think plus points here with Tennessee is the way to go.
And then just follow-up question to that then, Robbie, with it being the single-out game, Monday Nighter, a lot of public bets on it. Could you think we could see a 6, 6.5, even 7 on this? Should we wait?
There's potential just because Dallas is such a popular team. If it were, and Tennessee's not a popular team as far as the regular betting public goes, the $10, $20, $50 bettors all flock to Dallas. Dallas has a huge fan base across the country, as we all know. Tennessee just doesn't have that. So in answer to your question, just based off of that, yes, you probably could see a 0.5 point movement, although the 5.5s that are out there have the larger VIG attached to the underdog right now, so it would have to come a long way. But it's not out of the realm of possibility to see 6 there.
All right, good stuff, Robbie. We got you want to throw anything out to the listeners before we shut this down?
Wow. I mean, we do basically the same thing every week, Drew. Right off the bat, just wish all the listeners good luck with all their plays. Hopefully we're helping them out with what we do here on the podcast. We like the response when it's positive. Not so fun when it's negative, but we haven't gotten much negative response, if any, so that's a good sign that we're doing something right here. Just good luck to everybody. The college football plays, the 5%er will be up later this afternoon. For those who have already purchased and are waiting on it, give me about a 90-minute, 2-hour span here. We'll get it up there. And then, of course, the NFL will follow. So good luck to everybody, and we'll get back at it, once again next week. Hey, Drew, when we talk next week, we'll have college basketball too. Yikes.
Oh, man, a lot going on, Robbie. Guys, remember the coupon code Veno40 when checking out if you want an extra 40% off any all-access with Rob Veno. Over 80% the last week. And best of luck with your bets this weekend, Robbie. Best of luck to everybody out there listening. And we'll be back on Monday with the NFL Opening Line Report.